Good evening and welcome to CTV News. I'm Keith Albertson.
And I'm Steven Starcer. It was homecoming weekend for CSU, and the fans came out en masse to support the football and volleyball teams on Saturday. We'll get to football in a minute, but the volleyball team had a couple of matches this week and kept their undefeated status. I spoke with Coach Hilbert and some of the players last week about their success. To the season, many thought CSU's women's volleyball team would take a step back after losing 4 senior starters from last year's Mountain West Championship team. But the Rams had other things on their mind.
Everyone had assumed that it was going to be a rebuilding year and that just, get team chemistry, and coming into it, we didn't really know how we were going to do, and the fact that we're doing well, I think expectations have gone up.
CSU is a perfect 13-0 on the year, and a lot of success has been attributed to the team's balanced approach.
There's no superstars on the team this year. Everybody contributes, everybody makes an impact, and every night we have someone different that is playing a huge role.
The Rams' undefeated start has pushed them up to number 13 in the national rankings, but the players know that doesn't mean everything.
It's really cool that we're ranked 13 right now, but in the end it doesn't really matter until we get to conference play and conference championships and stuff like that. I think the rankings shouldn't play a big role in our minds, and I don't think it does.
It's nice to be 13th, and it's nice to be doing well, but I think our goal still is to get better every day in every match.
Head coach Tom Hilbert believes his team must remain level-headed.
The goals day to day are the same. You're trying to win the next match. The only thing you got to be careful of is that you don't take it for granted.
They went on to win their pink-out game on Thursday. Then they swept Boise State in front of Moby's largest crowd of the season at the homecoming game on Saturday. Keith, once again, we've talked about it a lot this season, but this CSU volleyball team just keeps on rolling.
Keeps on rolling is right. 15-0. They moved up to number 12 now since that video, the latest rankings today. It's just impressive to watch them play.
It's so fun to go out there and watch this team in person. If you haven't done it, I definitely recommend it. They're just so much energy. They have great team chemistry out there, and they make it fun to go out there and watch. And they're also getting W's as well, so that always makes it even more better.
And I think the Rams fans are really latching on to that too. They ended up having 4,800 fans at the homecoming game on Saturday, the 10th largest crowd in the team's history. Just great people are finally starting to see what this team is capable of as they climb to their highest ranking since 2008.
It was a great atmosphere. You had the alumni out there, all the families and friends coming up for students up here to support the team on the weekend, and it was great to see that kind of fan support out there. Moby was rocking, and it just made it for a real fun atmosphere, and I know the players and Coach Hilbert enjoyed it.
Definitely, and it's just so fun to watch this team play. I think the aspect of their game that I've really been impressed by the most is their ability to win the long points, the points that get drawn out. Both teams are fighting hard, and it seems like more often than not, CSU comes out on top. They're able to fight harder, longer.
Yeah, this team, Coach Hilbert has talked about, they don't have enough talent to just step on the court and go out there and win matches, but they've outworked every single opponent this year, and that shows. And each and every night, a different player can step up. You see Samantha Peters, 10 kills in the match, .556 hitting percentage, and 5 blocks. She was phenomenal. And, each and every night you get a different player put up those kind of stats, which is just awesome to see for this CSU team.
Yeah, the depth is just great there. So many different players can step up and have stepped up, which is really the key to success for a team like this.
Yeah, they're a young team. They have some experience, but they lost a lot of starters from last year's team, but they've been able to step up, and they work so well together that this team has just gotten off to a great start, and we hope they could keep it rolling.
Definitely, and props to Coach Hilbert for really enforcing that. Now, unfortunately, our football program hasn't shared the same success as our volleyball team. The team's record dropped to 2-4 after Saturday's loss to San Jose State in its conference opener in front of Hughes Stadium's largest crowd since 2011. Coach McElwain expressed his disappointment with his team's performance in front of that crowd.
I feel sick for the homecoming crowd that came out to support these guys, and we didn't send them home with a win.
Definitely a disappointing way to start conference play, Stephen, and you can really see it in Coach Mac's face there.
Yeah, he wanted to win this one big. It was homecoming, and you had, we talked about, lots of family and friends there. Huge support. It was a nice crowd out there at Hughes Stadium. But unfortunately, this team continues to struggle to execute on the fundamentals, and they're still struggling to get the little things right, and I think that's making a huge difference, and that's why this team's off to a 2-4 start, Keith.
Definitely, and it all goes back to some defensive issues. You know, they gave up 608 yards to the San Jose State team. Not something you can do against a team that really isn't very elite.
Yeah, you know, we talked about it before the show a little bit. San Jose State, a one-dimensional team with fails back there at quarterback. Not a team who runs the ball all that much, but they still put up 608 total yards in this one. CSU fared better against Alabama, the number 1 team in the nation, than they did against the Spartans on Saturday. Definitely a big surprise. And it's just those big plays down the field where the secondary just keeps seeming to kind of not play till the whistle blows. If you'd say, you know, seems like they think the defensive line might have a sack or so and the quarterback's able to escape and make a play. And right now that's really been the thorn in the Rams' back in the past few games.
Yeah, as you look at here, the touchdowns, you know, it's the big plays. 3 touchdowns that they gave up of more than 60 yards on one play passing. And they had the same struggles at UTEP. It's not a way that you can win as a team.
Yeah, you know, they're playing 3.5 good quarters right now of football in a lot of these games, but they're not playing the complete 4, and that's what you have to do to be able to come up with wins. And right now, they only have the 2 wins on the season because of that. They're just not playing a full quarters, not executing on every single play like they can. And you know, I think Coach Hilbert and his coaching staff are doing the right things to prep this team before each week's football matchup. But right now, the team, it's just a matter of them going out there and actually doing it on the field on Saturdays.
Yep, and I think it'll come, you know, the defensive spark that we saw in Alabama. Actually, the fewest yards we've allowed in a game is against number 1 Alabama, which is tremendous. But if we could play half as well against a lot of these Mountain West opponents, we'll get some wins.
Yep.
And we're going to take a quick break now, but when we come back, we'll give you a look at the football team's upcoming matchup in the border war against Wyoming.
And we'll tell you which team came out with an upset victory this weekend.
Stay tuned.
Shelters are the best places to find a new pet.
What a perfectly beautiful little lady.
That's where you'll discover healthy, loyal, and loving animals.
You little rascal.
Eager to become a part of your family. A person is the best thing to happen to a shelter pet.
Oh, ladies first.
Be that person. Adopt.
This is living. Hey, kid.
To find out more, visit theshelterpetproject.org.
So, Stephen, we're at just about the halfway point in the season. We played 6 games of our 13. And where do you see this team going from here in being able to go and get wins in conference?
You know, it's going to be difficult. Yeah, you know, anytime you get into conference play, each team knows each other pretty well. Everybody knows each other's strengths, so you have to be able to go out there and execute. Like I mentioned, right now CSU is having a little bit of struggles doing that. It really hurt that they lost the first game of conference play on Saturday, and it was at home. You want to be able to defend home field advantage. They weren't able to do that, so this team now has to be able to show an ability to go out and win on the road, and that's going to be key. And it starts this coming Saturday when they go up to Laramie to take on Wyoming.
Yeah, and it's a tough game to get rolling. You know, there are rivals. Wyoming obviously brings a little something extra, and so should the Rams. But it's going to be tough with the defensive struggles that we've shown in the last few games. And with quarterback Brett Smith of Wyoming, his ability to hit receivers, one of the best quarterbacks in the Mountain West, has really shown his stuff, and he's going to be tough to defend.
Smith's a playmaker, there's no doubt about it, and CSU's going to have to be ready. You hope that they could keep everything in front of them, not let any plays get behind them like we saw in the San Jose State matchup. You know, hopefully the Rams offense can help out a little bit, maybe get some ball control, really pound it out on the ground. It's a huge game. You hope this team can get up for it. They're playing for the boot. It's the oldest rivalry west of the Mississippi in college football, so it's a huge game. You know Coach Mack wants to get it, so we'll look forward to see this team come out and try and get a victory in this rivalry game.
Definitely hope the defense really steps up.
Defense has really kept CSU's women's soccer team in many close games throughout their inaugural season, and they have suffered more heartbreaks than anyone would care to remember. But they finally made history last Friday. The Rams defeated Nevada on the road 1-0, giving the team their first victory over a Division I opponent and their first ever win in Mountain West Conference. Sasa Chinichkova scored the game-winning goal in the 38th minute off an incredible pass from Amy Eckert. Coach Bill Hempen said after the match he knew the win would come sooner or later, it was just a matter of when. The team followed the win with another closely contested match against UNLV on Sunday, but came up just short, losing by a score of 1-0. The Rams are now back at home this week for their final 2 matches of the season. CSU plays Utah State at 3 on Friday and Boise State at 1 on Sunday at the Fort Collins Soccer Complex.
And last weekend, the men's hockey team played its first games as a Division I team, but lost all 3. However, all is not lost for this team. They faced 3 of the top 15 teams in the country. They did struggle with the same issues that the women's soccer team did, with a lackluster offense and an inability to score. The team is set to square off at the Pepsi Center on Saturday night, though, in the on-ice version of the Rocky Mountain Showdown against the CU Buffs. This is the first of 4 matchups between CSU and CU. The opening face-off will be at 7:30. And we're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we've got another hard-hitting Hit of the Week segment that you won't want to miss.
A full life, measured in seats, starts with the right ones early on. Car crashes are the #1 killer of children 1 through 13. Learn how to prevent deaths and injuries by using the right car seat for your child's age and size.
Welcome back to CTV. Obviously, the football game didn't go the way the Rams hoped, but they still got a few good licks on San Jose State players.
And our first big lick of the game is a sack, and this sack actually didn't belong to Shaq Barrett. Let's take a look. We've got San Jose State quarterback fumbles the snap and then just takes a huge hit to the chest right there. Big blow, stays on the ground for a little bit, looks up, oh, ouch, that hurts. Definitely not what you want to see if you're a quarterback, see the big lineman coming right at you, especially when you're struggling to hold on to the ball. Now you did see the ball squirt out a little bit there. It was not a fumble, he was ruled down. But it's a sack and definitely a defensive play that we'd like to see more out of from this team.
You like seeing your defense capitalizing in the other team's mistakes right there. It would have been nice if we could have gotten the fumble. Maybe that would have, once again, been one of those momentum-shifting plays that we always talk about in the game of football. Could have helped this team get the win, but you like that they were able to get in there and get the quarterback down for loss of yardage.
Especially because other players besides Shaq Barrett are stepping up and making plays.
You have to have other players step up. Barrett's been awesome for this team, but we need other guys who have playmaking ability to go in there and make some plays defensively for the Rams. This next one is a hit on our own Chris Wilke, but he doesn't go down easily. As we go ahead and roll this clip, Garrett Grayson's going to get the toss out left to Wilke, goes up in the air, and somehow manages to land on his feet. We take a look at it one more time. Just tremendous ability by Wilke to land on his feet. Still suffered a little bit loss of yardage on the play, but once again, tremendous effort from another CSU Ram player.
Yeah, absolutely. Just like a cat landing on his feet there. Even if he was a little disoriented, not sure which direction was downfield, but the fact that he was able to avoid that tackle, essentially, you'll see some more big plays out of this guy by the end of the season.
There's no doubt about it. He's a senior. You know he wants to go out there and use every last ounce of energy that he has and put forth all the effort that he has left here in his last year for the Rams. And I think it was great to see him go out there and, didn't have his best game of the season, but definitely look forward to him getting involved more for this team later on down the season.
Definitely. Good to see him fighting for those extra yards. That's what you want out of an offensive playmaker. And our last video here shows the dangers that come with being on the sidelines of the football games.
CTV's own Kate Winkle risks life and limb to bring us this special highlight as we roll the clip. Coming right at her. Did a great job of staying there holding the camera. Keith, if that was me, I'll tell you what, I might have just ditched the camera.
Yeah, ditch the camera, get out of the way. You've got a couple of college football players heading right at you full speed ahead, but props to Kate and props to all of our reporters that go out there. Not necessarily the most glamorous job, but they go out there and they bring us the clips that we can bring you at home. Well, that's all the time we have for you tonight.
If you missed any of tonight's show, then please be sure to check in online at CTV News or at YouTube. Our videos are posted online.
And you can watch the rest of our show on our website at collegian.com. And you can even show all of your friends.
Thanks for watching and have a great night.